All right, if you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. Now to our main conversation for today. Plans have been concluded by the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, the NEL Fund, that is, to pay out a total of 35 billion naira in fees and monthly upkeep allowances to 70,000 applicants who are already successful in their loan applications.
This is according to an exclusive report by Nigerian online newspaper Premium Times. The successful applicants, who are students of federal government-owned tertiary institutions across the country, were drawn from the pool of 120,000 applicants who sent in their applications as of Friday, 21 June.
And according to multiple sources within the agency, the various applicants will have their total fees charged by their institutions at the beginning of the session and paid directly into the institution's bank account.
What is clear, however, is that when the fees for these 70,000 applicants were summed up, they amounted to 35 billion naira, which will be paid this week. And in addition, the applicants will also receive a 20,000 naira monthly allowance for their upkeep and all through the year of the applicant's studentship, including when they are at home.
Meanwhile, sources confirmed that a total of 50,000 additional applications are already currently being evaluated for possible consideration, noting that the agency receives an average of 1,500 applications per day. Stay with us in the studios to do justice to this very important topic is Cyril Abaku. Thank you, Cyril Abaku, for hanging out and taking us on our main conversation for today. And this particular story and loan scheme brings my mind to Bosu Tijani, Minister for ICT's program called 3MTT, which was meant to empower about 3 million Nigerians in the ICT sector. However, the report received said that those that were successful didn't cut across the regions. It was, as reported, was just meant for loyalists of the party. I don't know, with the 70,000 already selected, do you think we are walking towards the same direction in this manner?
Well, let me be clear that in my assessment of what I've seen, regarding the NEL Fund specifically now, I think that we may need to have a little more patience, as they say, to wait it out and see if indeed this is where we should be heading. But frankly, so far, I smell a rat of some kind. Yes, because beginning with where this story is, why are we getting to know this through a third party? And that when there was effort to reach the spokesperson of NEL Fund, he said he could neither confirm nor deny.
So which means not confirm nor deny, which means it's true.
Well,
It could be on the fence, actually.
you know, you are a thinker yourself.
Yeah,
I was about to go the route of saying in communication strategy, there's a use for that. When people say they can neither confirm nor deny. When someone does accuse you directly and you say, you should deny it.
Yeah. If it's wrong.
If it's wrong, you should deny it. If it will put your image in bad light, you should deny it. If it will put your image in a place it is not supposed to be, you deny it flat. But this one, I said, they can neither confirm nor deny, which means in reality that the information will come out eventually, maybe this week or next. They'll come out and say, we've done it. But they are now going to pay 35 billion naira to 70,000 students. We can all, we can do the math. What we hear now is that 20,000 naira to students, both when they are in school and when, and we don't know whether that will include if there were strikes. Because they're taking a gamble with public institutions. Okay? So that is where we are with that. But you are referring to the minister's own initiative of 3MT or something.
3MTT, yeah.
The 3MTT. 70,000 students is quite a number. But again, political parties have a very wide, what's the word now? You usually have a very, at the presidential level, right? What they call structure has to be something very extensive and broad. Now, we may begin to say, when the names are out, when we eventually know who and who are involved, we can begin to analyze them by geopolitical zone, because in Nigeria, you can never take anything for granted. We saw a government that only weeks ago was appointing councils for universities. The president appointed 111 of them. And later on, people said that all these people are retired politicians who the president was only trying to appease and settle. How can you reduce something as serious, something as central to national development as education, to a retirement home for political jobbers and speculators and workers? That when you want to, and then what did you now see? As soon as the names came out, some days the president said he was going to review the names again. I don't understand how government does that. After appointing, we're whooping 111 people. Suddenly say that you're going to still review it. Does it mean that thought didn't go into it? Did it mean that there was no proper checks and checking and cross-checking to be sure that people that you're appointing were people that deserved it? You see, in this country, and if the NEFON was dragged into this sort of scandal, for the fact that we continue to put merit on the back burner or on the back foot, is the reason we will remain where we are. Because education is the bedrock of any society. Look at what we did with what is it, ELDS? They call it Education Least Developed States. You will score above 50%. They say you can't study medicine. Somebody is scoring less than somebody only needs to show his sleep. Exams literally show his exam sleep, and you'll be asked to study that same. So who is deceiving who? Why don't we say what is your course of study? And I think maybe the day comes when we implement this. You're done with WAEC, right? Okay, go to this. What do you want to study? Medicine, go and start. If you're able to along the way, step aside. But as long as you say that, just go and start. Let's see. Because of what is the so-called quota system and everything. Now, can government come and beat it and say that there are no the quota system with this NEFON fund? Exactly. Are they not doing it? Can they come and, because the criteria for selection,
we do not yet know.
And they say they are getting 1,500 applications per day. Now, that thinking like a policymaker, that tells me that clearly, even if you want to assume that NEFON is a step in one direction, shows that NEFON cannot be the future. Nigerians have a strong, Nigerians have a strong appetite to be better, generally. Because they realize that education in our milieu is the only passport to climbing up the social ladder. Sure. That's why even in America, where the most educated community there, everybody wants to get a PhD. And you guys. But how do you have, look at Europe. When Hitler had all those big men, all those big leaders, and what he attempted to take the world. In Britain, it was Churchill's own counter to Hitler. You know what I mean? In the Soviet Union, under Stalin, they went to the moon. They went into space. In America, those same guys, in fact, some of Hitler's men helped America to go to the moon. So, but a nation of such ambitious people who are only thinking of how they can be better, also should have a government has not reason that can make Nigerians, that can give them what can be beyond themselves. And when we begin to dream beyond themselves, that's when they can begin to make their societies better. But we cannot get to that place when a minister is initiating a program, and in the end, they start looking at passport. Whose passport? This person looks like my brother's sister. The other one's name sounds closer to the party chairman. If you do this, you won't go forward. We had a splurge in the 1950s. When I mean a splurge, we had an outburst of the best brains, and nobody cared who came from where. In that generation, you had there are so many of them. Even this man that came to write, what's he called? Eze Goes to School. Those two men that wrote Eze Goes to School. He died some years ago. I can't pick his name now. But I mean, you had Chiona Achebe, Wole Soyinka, Ige Mokwede, J.P. Clark, Enahoro, Cyprian Ekwensi. It was like an overkill of talent. So, did you know that same generation produced a man called Ben Wambweze? Now, Ben Wambweze, in 1979, wrote chapter 2. He wrote chapter 2 of the whole constitution of that year. In Kenya, when the American came to Kenya to meet the president and said, Mr. President, it's not good to run Kenya. You need a proper constitution. The man said, who can write? I don't have anybody that can write for me. Ayoko recommended Ben Wambui single-handedly wrote the entire Kenyan constitution. Only him. Single-handed wrote the entire constitution of the country. It was we talk about the judiciary. What's his name? Ben Wambui became the first Nigerian, as far as I know, that became an SCN without being a litigant who was going to court. They looked at his contributions to law. And I said, this man is too knowledgeable not to be given the rank of son, and he was awarded son. Look at people like Chukwudi Foputa, Kayode Esho, these great the judges who have now died. Okay? A country that continues to look at its past as better than its present cannot be said to making progress. And for us, when we've seen how societies progress, our only recommendation is that there is a way to look at the success of the past and to reproduce it. Your only sure way of reproducing success is that you put it in a code and get able to learn and master that code. Then if you know that you can play by that code, you succeed. But those who are super brilliant can even break those codes and succeed even more. But education is supposed to be the minimum benchmark that all of us can subscribe to and take a leap from there. So to bring it to a point where uncertainties, ambiguities, all realistic procedures are being meted out on it, just shows that we don't seem to be serious about where we say we are going.
Thank you, sir. Now, you made mention of the fact that NAFON might not be the future. Now, what do you think is the best way, or if NAFON is given an opportunity to redo things with your analysis, what would be your advice?
Oh, come on. There's a lot we can do, right? You see, the whole conversation about Nigerian education is bigger than just NAFON and even the universities, but universities have to lead because they're the cradle of civilization, whether I like it or not. Now, we need to ask, first of all, let me break this down. As a society, we have a history. We're coming from somewhere. Our forefathers and forefathers were educated before the white men came. But that process of their own organic education was breached. And to that extent, when the colonialists came, they gave us their own kind of education. And what was it? It was an education to be trained and to be used for colonial service. They train you not to think of what you will do. Just think of how you can serve the government. So all of us go to school looking for jobs. Pastor Olumide Manala put it very brilliantly. How can you be school for 22 years and the first letter you're writing is, I beg to apply? So, but we need to look at ourselves. Before the Malaysians came to take the oil palm seedlings that went to transform their country, that now they planted over 600 million palm trees. 600 million. That's why they delayed the world market in palm oil production. But who consumes it more? I think it is us. Good. So we need to look at where we've been before the disruption came and where we are today and how we can reclaim our destiny. It's not just about going to school and going to class. What is the destiny of Nigeria as a country? There's a reason children in China and Japan produce toys and and we buy them. What do our children produce in turn? Our children are still counting 1 to 100 when children in Japan are producing toys already. So this is where we need to ask ourselves, why or for what do we need education in Nigeria? What is our place in the globe? What is our own stake in the Community of Nations? Where do we want to head? Where are we heading? In Europe, Ireland, they are still doing children until they grow, until you've got like 9 or 10. You won't start school. Are you aware that our parents went to school only when they could do this?
Yeah.
Right? Who stopped it and why? So we need to ask these questions. It is only when we've come to, because when we talk about NAFON cannot help the mechanic at Oshodi who can repair a Range Rover. But he says he's not educated. But he has cognitive properties in his brain that he knows all the parts by name. But yet he's not educated. Come on now. So we need to, this is where we need to go. I think Odiofimo came closest to it when he said that if he became governor of Edo State, he would destroy the whole of Benin and rebuild it from scratch. He now said in addition that we need to go to people like Leo Tolstoy, all of those writers, the greatest literatures in the world, and translate them into our own local languages. Then translate into their own foreign language and equalize. We must not the same strata with everybody. Then we can compete with that kind of mindset in view. How do you feel if you went to London and saw the Nigerian let's say the Nigerian, no, let's say maybe went to Moscow and saw Russians studying Nigerian literature in their language. Wow, that's a big thing, right? It gives a sense of pride. So you won't show up at the airport in Moscow and they're saying, where are you from? No one to say, you won't say Nigeria. They respect you either for your football, for your music, for your art, for your entertainment, or for your literature. So it's the way of reasserting our pride as a society. If we don't tap back into our own culture, into our own being, into our own essence, this thing we are doing about numeracy, literacy, then you go to school, people are teaching, are freely teaching with techniques of 90s and something today. We are not even being educated in Nigeria. We are being de-educated.
All right. During the Democracy Day, Shehu Sani called our president master of protest. And some Nigerians have equally come to call the president master of palliative. But it is not just known to Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the one person that has started off the palliative thing. You know, if we go back during Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, he spent 50 billion naira as at the time when the dollar was 150 to 200 naira for the dollar. He spent 50 billion naira on UWIN project. Now, I don't think you would count 10 persons who benefited from that UWIN program of 10 million naira each, who can really give, testimonial about the proceed of that particular project. Now, the question is, why do you think governments after governments in Nigeria are always quick to going towards a palliative rather than what you just talked about that we see in China and other first and second world countries?
Well, so let me begin again from where you stopped. China and other first or second world countries, right? So again, we ought to sit back and have a thorough rethink. Where are we? Where are we heading? If you look at Nigeria today, I mean, even from Bible times, the black man, what has he always prospered in? What has he always succeeded in? In spite of government's repressive absence from our lives, from social life, Nigerians are doing well in music on their own. They are prospering in Nollywood on their own. They are prospering in the artistic. In fact, I forgot to mention Ben Enwonwu in that same category of the show in cast. Enwonwu was the first black man that the Queen of England posed for. You won't believe it. Enwonwu was a man possessed of some kind of spirit. He was producing that famous Nightel, you know that? Oh yeah, that was Ben Enwonwu's work.
Wow.
He was a powerful craftsman when it came to the artistic endeavors. Even Chapel of Christ the Risen Lord in Ibadan was his work. A lot of monuments that sort of gave back to Nigeria's artistic expression was his work, was Enwonwu pure. Now, but coming back to the question, so what have we done as a country to put effort into the things we are naturally talented at? Because that's where greatness springs from. You're good at a thing, you invest in it, you give it, you go from gifts, talent to skill. Skill means that training has come into it. All right. Today there is a Nigerian stone worker, Oladapo Afolayan. No other person in Nigeria has prospered in stone. I'm not talking about painting or woodwork. I'm talking about stone carving. As Afolayan has done, but I don't think Nigerians know him. We are not looking at that, right? You have that man at Auchi Polytechnic. We've seen the work he has done, the stone garden or something like that he has created with his people and so on. But how many Nigerian art workers have their works even in Aso Rock? Maybe they're there and we don't know. But it's not really, we don't pay attention to this as much as we should pay attention to. So what we must do, maybe don't leave it to me alone. Let Nigerian scholars come together to look at our history, look at our proclivities, and then come up with a blueprint on where our education should be heading. I have personally made some sort of, I've thought it over, and I've thought that all over the world today, people are talking of STEM. You know STEM education? Yeah. STEM. But Nigeria does not seem to be making any whenever we're talking about it, it may even have been better if they said this nail phone, they are focusing on a particular so that we are, and then there's a target attached to it to say maybe want to send a man to the moon or something in, so, but there's no clear this thing. So everything those countries are talking about do always feeds into some specific streamlined national goal, so that even if it didn't work, you can come back, retweak it, and then try again. Okay, but it was high time Nigerian scholars came together. We are commissioned to come together to tell us what we should do. In the 70s, Obasanjo commissioned a team like that, led by Professor Dr. Adebayo Adedeji. It was even for the first time put it in paper and said Nigeria's destiny was to defend the black man and people of black descent anywhere and everywhere in the world. Murtala attempted it. Well, he got killed in the process. But Nigeria's own overall destiny can't be far removed from the black man's burden or from the black man's place in the world. Let me wrap with this. If you look at the world's richest men, you hardly find a black man, let's say in the first top 5 or top 10. And today in world football, black people are still defending their right to be black. Even Victor Osimhen's own club was piling racism on him. Was telling that he was black. You know, they were ridiculing him. Now, why is it so? It is because the black man has not climbed up the ladder as he ought to climb in achievement. He is still cut off from the economic empowerment where economic empowerment matters. The black man is not there yet. What can we do? Look at Dangote now. They are fighting him. You see what I mean? They are fighting him. So, but we can retool our education to reassert our blackness, to reassert the fact that we are Africans and that we once had an illustrious past. And we're heading back to the place where Nigeria as a country can become the first black superpower of modern times. This may look very ambitious and grand, but if let it be in anybody's eyes, can Nigeria get there? Of course we can, because we have the manpower and the brains to get there.
Very true.
And it will take leadership to begin to steer the wheel in that direction.
Wow.
Very true. It takes leadership to take us there. And Choma, you know, when this came to mind, 70,000 applicants qualified. It's a paltry sum when you compare it to about 2.1 million students in different universities. We're not talking about colleges of education and so on and so forth. And I wonder if the administration has the power to go the long haul. 70,000 is just a drop in the ocean.
A drop, a little drop in the end. We just hope they do it the right way, and the major goal for the loan is maximized. That is another important thing. And we hope the right student gets the money.
Very true. Most importantly, please let it cut across every region in Nigeria. That's so very important. Well, this is just the size of our package for today. We'd love to say thank you to Cyril Abaku for being part of our show and, you know, taking us through and educating us a lot on all that you said today. And for you, we'd love to say thank you so very much also for giving us your time every time we call. Please do well to visit our website, www.enterprisetvnews.com, and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Igwebike.
I'm Choma Okoye.
On behalf of the entire team of Enterprise Television, thank you for watching and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.